Good morning, everyone. In our previous session, already we have seen the CW radar operation with the Doppler effect. Now we'll continue with that, and in this class we will discuss about intermediate frequency receiver. The receiver of the simple CW radar is as shown in the figure, the block diagram in front of you. So some aspects analogous to super heterodyne receiver. Receivers of these types are called heterodyne receiver or super heterodyne receivers with zero IF. So that is the reason in block diagram we have mentioned non-zero IF. So non-zero IF means it contains IF. So whereas some super heterodyne receiver will contain zero IF. Right? The function of the local oscillator is replaced by the leakage signal from the transmitter, such as a receiver is simple than one with more conventional intermediate frequency. Since no IF amplifier or local oscillator is required. However, the simple receiver is not as sensitive because of increased noise at the lower intermediate frequencies caused by the flicker effect. Flicker effect noise is occurred in semiconductor devices such as diode detectors and cathodes of vacuum tubes. The noise power produced by the flicker effect varies inversely proportional, whereas the alpha is supposed to be the unity. So here the alpha is nothing but what? Attenuation. In this constant, to sort of noise or thermal noise, which is independent of the frequency. That is, at lower frequencies, that is supposed to be audio or video regions, the Doppler frequencies are usually found. The detector of the CW receiver can introduce a considerable amount of noise, resulting in reduced receiver sensitivity. For short range, low power approximations in short range applications, this sensitivity decreases, so might be due to the antenna aperture or additional transmitter power. But in order to achieve the maximum efficiency, the CW radar must contain a zero IF that cannot be tolerated. So that is the reason we are going with a block diagram of CW radar with non-zero IF. So already we have seen the non-zero IF contains of separate antennas for both the transmission as well as the receiver. So instead of a usual local oscillator, we found a conventional super heterodyne receiver. The local oscillator is derived in this receiver is from the portion of the transmitter power, and the signal is mixed with the local oscillator generated signal of frequency, so equal to that of the receiver IF. Since the output of the mixer shown in the figure consists of two sidebands on either sides of the carrier pulse, the harmonics are produced, and this one will be followed by the narrowband filter, and this will be removed, and that is considered as a reference signal. The improvement in receiver sensitivity with an intermediate frequency super heterodyne may be as low as 30 dB, so over a simple radio receiver. So already you have seen from the block diagram it is seen that there is a transmitter and as well as a receiver, and after transmitting electromagnetic signal, that is what the frequency of F0, so that will be transmitted by the transmitting antenna. The receiver signal, the same F0 will be go to the frequency meter. There we apply a local oscillator frequency. So mixer will perform three operations. That is, the frequency will be summed or frequency will be subtracted. So those are supposed to be sidebands. So in that, the sideband filter will separate the frequencies. That is, there we have taken F0 plus or plus frequency. So we have eliminated minus frequencies there. And after receiving the frequency, what we have discussed in the previous classes, that is the Doppler frequency. The Doppler frequency is received by the receiving antenna, and this will go to the receiving mixer. So what happens there is the F0 and whatever the F0 received by the receiver will be cancelled with each other. The remaining part, that is the intermediate frequency, will be added or subtracted with the Doppler frequency. Already we have seen in our previous classes that plus or minus indicates the distance of the target from the radar. If we consider the plus, the target is moving towards the radar. If it is minus, we'll consider that the target is moving away from the radar. So after that, we'll go to the IF amplifier. After that, we'll go to secondary data. The secondary data means the intermediate frequency will be eliminated, and after that will be Doppler amplifier, and after that it will go to the detector. So after that, there we are There we need to consider a very important parameter that is supposed to be receiver bandwidth. So why? Because the bandwidth of the receiver should be as long as to receive the outputs. So that is what the receiver bandwidth should be a major constraint in radar. So that is we need to consider so how to design a radar bandwidth and what are the requirements of radar in order to have such a bandwidth in order to receive the output signal. One of the requirements of the Doppler frequency amplifier is simple CW radar. Already we have seen in earlier classes. IF amplifier of the sideband super heterogeneous receiver, which I have seen in the block diagram, is that it will be wide enough to pass the expected range of Doppler frequencies. In most of the practical interest, the expected range of Doppler frequencies will be much wider than the frequency spectrum occupied by the signal energy. Consequently, the use of the wideband amplifier converting the expected Doppler range will result in increase in the noise as lowering the receiver sensitivity. If the frequency of the Doppler shifted echo signal were known earlier, a narrowband filter can be adjusted. So narrowband filter is nothing but what we can adjust the frequency. So one just wide enough to reduce the excess noise without eliminating a significant amount of the signal energy. So might be used. So if the waveform of the echo signal were known as it's a carrier frequency, the matched filter could be specified. So several factors tend to spread the CW signal energy over a finite frequency band. So these must be known in an appropriate to the bandwidth required for the bandwidth narrowband Doppler filter is to be obtained. If the receiver waveform or a sine wave, so let us say the receiver waveform will be sine. So in most of the cases, the receiver signal will be a sine wave. So that is the reason we are considering a sine wave of infinite duration. Its frequency spectrum would be a delta function, and the receiving bandwidth could be infinitely small. So, but a sine wave, I mean, we are considering a sine wave. So there we need to consider the infinite duration of an infinite bandwidth. So cannot be occurring in nature. So we need to consider a finite bandwidth. So the normal situation is an echo, which is a sine wave of the finite rather than the infinite duration. Assume a CW radar. So already you have seen that assume a CW radar with an antenna having a beam width, scanning at the rate of some degrees per second. The time on the target, that is supposed to be the ratio of the bandwidth to the time. So thus the signal of the finite duration of the bandwidth of the receiver must be in order to the reciprocal of the time on the target. So although it is not an exact relation, it is a good enough approximation for the purpose of the present discussion. If the antenna beam width is 2 degrees above from the scanning rate, so the spread of the spectrum of the receiver signal due to the finite time will be decreased to or in and around 18 Hz. So that is independent of the frequency. In addition to the spectrum of the receiving signal spectrum caused by the finite time on the target, the spectrum may be further widened if the target causes cross-sectional fluctuations. The fluctuations widen the spectrum by modulating the echo signal. In this particular case, it has been reported that the aircraft cross-section can be changed to around 15 dB for a change in target spectrum. The little of the angle is very, very less than, that is 1/3 of the angle. So the echo signal from a propeller driven aircraft can be also contain modulation components at a frequency proportional to the propeller rotation. The frequency spectrum produced by the propeller modulation is more like that produced by a sine wave signal and its harmonics rather than a broad or wideband spectrum. It might permit the detection of the propeller-driven aircraft passing on a tangential trajectory, even though the Doppler frequency shift is 0. The rotating blades of the helicopter and the compressor stages of the jet engine can also result in modulation of the echo and binding the spectrum that can be degrade the performance of the CW radar. So that is what when a Doppler shift echo signal is known to lie somewhere within a relative wide bandwidth frequencies, the band filters spread through the frequency spectrum measurement of the frequency and improves the signal to noise ratio. So as shown in the figure, so this is the filter banks we need to use in order to increase the bandwidth. The bandwidth of each individual filter is wide enough to accept the signal energy, but not so wide, so as to introduce more noise that needed to be. The center frequencies of the filters are staggered to over the entire range of the Doppler frequencies. If the filters are spaced with their half power points overlap, the maximum reduction in signal to noise ratio of the signal, which lies midway between the headset channel compared with the signal to noise ratio, will be in and around 3 dB. The more filters used to cover the band, less will be the maximum loss experienced. But the greater the possibility of the false alarm. So false alarm is nothing but what the finding unwanted target. So if the false alarm is occurred, so there is a possibility of there may be a target or may not be a target. So that is what the false alarm is. As shown in the figure, a bank of the narrowband filters may be used after the detector in the video of the simple CW radar as shown in the figure. So instead of the IF, the improvement in the signal to noise ratio with the frequency filter band is not as good as obtained with IF filter bank. But the ability to measure the magnitude of the Doppler frequency is still required. So because of the foldover, the frequency which is lies one side of the IF carrier appears after detection. So at the same video frequency as one which lies an equal amount on the other side of the AM. Therefore, the sign of the Doppler shift is lost with the video filter bank. So the sign is nothing but what plus or minus already have seen while we are calculating the Doppler frequency. And it cannot be determined whether the Doppler frequency corresponds to an approaching or receding target. So this is what the difficulty makes when we should not consider the bandwidth requirements as required. So one advantage of the fold power in video is that the only half of the number of the filters are required that in the IF filter bank. The relative of the bank of the continuous bandpass filters may also be obtained by converting the analog IF or video signal to a set sample quantized signals which are processed with digital circulatory by means of the fast Fourier transform algorithm. So it is a long process. So we don't need at the particular time, but we need to consider how the filter banks will appear as a major. So if you want to increase, so we need to increase the more number of filter banks as we see. If you are adding more number of filters, the frequency will be changes. So frequency will changes means what happens? The bandwidth will increase. This is after detecting and recognizing the signal. The filter may be programmed to continue its usage and in additional signals. So one technique is accomplished to this similar is the tracking speed. We will discuss later. And if any one of the above techniques of moving intervals is 0, the Doppler frequency will not be considered as it is not required here. So hence we'll go with frequency modulated CW radar. So this is the very important one. Already we have seen CW radar. So before in your previous classes, now we will go in with the frequency modulated CW radar. So why we are going a CW radar, FM CW radar? Also we have the CW radar. So CW radar has some disadvantages. To overcome these disadvantages, we will go with a frequency modulated CW radar. So first see, what are the disadvantages of the CW radar? So the main disadvantage of CW radar is the inability of the CW radar is to measure the range is related to the relatively narrow spectrum and its transmitted waveform. So some sort of timing mark must be applied to a CW radar if the range is to be measured. The timing mark. So this is the most important one. The timing mark permits the time of transmission and the time of return to be recognized. The sharper, more distinct the mark. That is, the more accurate the measurement of the transit time, but the more distinct the time mark is. The broader will be the transmitted spectrum. So this follows from the properties of the Fourier transform. So therefore, a finite spectrum must be necessary to be transmitted into the range. The spectrum of CW transmission can be broadened by the application of the modulation, either by amplitude modulation or frequency modulation of phase, where you can use anything if according to the requirement. So an example of an amplitude modulation is the pulse radar. The narrower the pulse, the most accurate the measurement of the range and the broader transmitter spectrum. If I use a technique or to broaden the spectrum of CW radar is the frequency modulated carrier. So that is either we can use AM or FM. So why we are using the FM is, this is the reason, right? The timing mark is the changing frequency. The transit time is proportional to the difference in frequency between the echo signal and the transmitter signal. The greater the transmitter frequency deviation in a given time interval, the more accurate the measurement of the transit time and the greater will be transmitted. So after that, we calculate the range and Doppler measurement in the frequency modulated CW radar. So that is supposed to be FM CW. There we have seen the abbreviated as FM CW in shortcut. The transmitted frequency is changed as a function of the time in a known manner. So in known manner, there is a simple method to calculate the frequency, right? So for example, I have assumed that the transmitted frequency increased linearly with time, as shown in the shaded line, as shown in the solid lines, as shown in the figure. If there is a reflecting object at a distance of r, an echo signal will be returned after the time. So that is the time is indicated as t is equals to 2r divided by c. The dashed line in the figure represents the echo signal, whereas the solid line indicates the transmitted signal, whereas the dotted line indicates the echo signal. If the echo signal is heterodyne with the portion of the transmitted signal in a nonlinear element such as the diodes or transistors, or we can use anything. So nonlinear device means normally we use a diode. A bit frequency will be produced. If there is no Doppler frequency shift, the bit node difference is a measure of the target's range. FB is equals to FR, where FR is the bit frequency due to only the target range. If the rate of the change of the carrier is F0, the bit frequency FR is equals to F0 into T. So there we need to substitute T is equals to 2R divided by C, which I have calculated. That is the difference between the time taken between the target, the signal to reach, to go to the target, and receiving the target to the receiver. So that is T is equals to 2R divided by C. To substitute that, we will get the frequency. In any practical CW radar, the frequency cannot be continuously changed in one direction. So periodicity in modulation is necessary. So as in triangular frequency modulation waveform, as shown in the figure also is like. So this is what the triangular modulation. The modulation need not be necessary to be triangular, but it can be a sawtooth wave or a sinusoidal or any other shape. The resulting bit frequency as a function of time is shown in the figure. For a triangular modulation, so there we have considered the triangular modulation. The bit node is of constant frequency except at a turnaround region. If the frequency is modulated at a rate of FM over the range that is delta F, the bit frequency is given by FR is equals to 2R divided by C into 2 into FM. A block diagram illustrating the principle of the FM CW radar, as shown in the figure already I've seen, right? This is the block diagram. A portion of the transmitted signal acts as a reference signal. So there it is mentioned, the reference signal between FM transmitter and the mixer to produce that bit frequency. It is introduced directly into the receiver via the cable or a direct connection. Ideally, the isolation between the transmitting and the receiving antenna is made sufficiently large so as to reduce the negligible level of the transmitted leakage signal, so which arrives at the transmitter or receiver via the coupling between the antennas. The bit frequency is amplified and limited to remove any amplitude fluctuation. The frequency of the amplitude limited bit node is measured with a cycle counting frequency meter calibrated in distance. In above, the target was assumed to be stationary. If this assumption is not applicable, a Doppler shift will be superimposed on FM range bit frequency, and the Doppler frequency shift causes the frequency time plot of the echo signal to be shifted. On one portion of the frequency modulated circuit, the bit frequency is increased by the Doppler shift, while on the other hand portion it is decreased. Right? That is, there we need to consider the two frequencies, the bit frequency up and as well as the bit frequency down. So bit frequency up means the reference frequency is subtracted from the Doppler frequency. That is reference frequency FR minus FT. That is supposed to be up, bit frequency up. So there we consider the bit frequency down means the reference frequency is added with the Doppler frequency. That is FR plus FT. So if it is added, then what happens? The range frequency may be expected by measuring the overall bit frequency, that is what up and down. So if up and down are measured separately, for example, by switching a frequency counter every half of the modulated cycle, one half of the difference between the frequencies will be yield the Doppler frequency. So this assumes the reference frequency is greater than the Doppler frequency. In the other hand, if the reference frequency is less than the Doppler frequency, such as might occur in high-speed targets at short range, the rules of the averaging the difference frequency measurements are reversed. The averaging meter will be measuring the Doppler velocity and the difference meter range. It is known that the roles of the motors are reversed because of the change in the inequality signs between frequency and reference frequency and the Doppler frequency, and an interpretation is a measurement of may be required. In FMCW data, for single targets only, such as in radio transmitter altimeters, it is not necessary to employ a linear modulation waveform. This is certainly advantageous since a sinusoidal frequency modulation is easier to obtain with the practical equipments than or the linear modulation. The bit frequency obtained with sinusoidal modulation is not constant over the modulation cycle as it is with linear modulation. However, it may be shown that the average bit frequency measured over a modulation cycle when substituted yields with correct values of the target range. Any reasonable shape modulation waveform can be used to measure the range provided the average bit frequency is measured. If the target is in motion and can be extended as before. If the average frequency is considered, the exact Doppler frequency the waveform must have equal on-sweep and down-sweep time intervals. The FMCW radar principles was known and used about the same time pulse data. So although the early developments of these two radar techniques seem to be relatively independent of each other. So there it is, the end of the session. So in this class already we have seen the receiver bandwidth requirements, what are the required for CW radar and FMCW radar. So there we have seen that the differences between CW radar and FMCW radar. So why we are using CW radar, why we are using FM radar compared to CW radar. In our next session, we will go with the FMCW radar and further topics more of it. Thank you.